Voila. I am truly honored to welcome you back to yet another episode of R&R. It's Jamerson Ballard. I am the host. And this is a special one, folks, because this is the very first live on YouTube. And it's an achievement for me. I, I'm happy. I'm a little nervous, right? Even though I do this every week for the last few years, I'm still lightweight nervous. But yeah, we have arrived to YouTube's live, and I'm much obliged to bring you the mutually beneficial episode of another one of these, man. And I got a couple things to bring up first. I gotta bring up my sponsors. One of them being uh, the shoe brand that I started, which is Kicks, the urban shoe brand brought to you by yours truly. And I will leave a link in the description box so you can check out the product. I'm smashing. I'm smashing with those. And I continue to grow. I'm a little bit, you know, like I said, I'm happy because I'm continuing to break through barriers and to grow, even though there's some things I want to improve on. Aesthetically, I'm still making headway. I actually just achieved another accomplishment, which is the ability to go live on TikTok also, and I was kind of conflicted about which one I should do, but I've been wanting to do YouTube for such a long time now. Um, I had to go with the YouTube situation first. Plus, with the TikTok situation being a little up in the air, I felt like this was going to be the best choice. Now, because it's not my Instagram audience, and I'm probably not going to get nobody to jump into my live right away, I have to be okay with that, but I'm still going to deliver the message. Now, today's episode is entitled The Pagans Started April Fool's 2. Right. Now, I probably should have did a series of something with this kind of thing going on. If I'd have known there was as many of these as it is, I probably would have. But I'm just gonna have to go with the flow on this one. Now I will be reading quite a bit, so you'll have to excuse the size of my forehead. If it bothers you, then you can always change the channel, right? Try to give it to you at at an angle where it looks favorable. But I mean, hey, it is what it is, and I love me, so I'm not mad at that. At any rate, I will be reading quite a bit on this one because I got a crazy amount of notes. But I don't want to scare off my listeners. Like, shout out to the Rant Gang, right? Shout out to the Capital Letter Club, right? So this has always been a channel where the truth is being brought to you. I am not necessarily a pastor. I am just a student of the word. So although all my episodes won't be like this, I gotta bring this to you. And this was supposed to actually happen yesterday, which for all intents and purposes is actually, was April 1st, but it's I'll talk more about it as we go along, but it's basically the first of the year, which is crazy to me because I've heard, and you probably heard, we've heard this, but I mean, I got some evidence now because after I did my last episode about Easter, I guess some of these things kind of pop up in my feed, and I'm curious. So if this is your first time hearing this, hey, you know, power to the people, because I'm all about empowerment, and you have to know things. Some of us don't want to know. You're not necessarily curious. Ignorance is bliss. Some of you guys want to walk around talking about April Fool's Day, but I got to give you the nitty gritty, man. It's, again, it pains me to see that a lot of this for those of you who go to church on a regular basis, and to know that this is something I'm about to bring to you, and maybe not your pastor, it's probably got to be a little bit disappointing. But we're gonna go there anyway. So y'all just come along, come with me, kids. Let's go on the lightweight journey into the past, where again the pagans, Babylonians, whatever you want to call it, have instituted yet another situation where the masses have taken something and turned it into something else, not really, or unbeknownst to me, right? So now I got to change some stuff. If you decide you want to change some stuff after you hear this episode, hey, you're welcome to do so. If you want to stay the same after this episode, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm finna bring it to you raw and uncut. So check it out, right? So today again is New Year's. Happy New Year. Technically, literally, this is really the New Year, and it makes sense. I mean, because things are starting to bloom, sprout. There's rain. We'll go into this. I'm gonna use the word. I'm not gonna just spout out a bunch of stuff and hope that you get it. I'm finna use the word to back me up. This is my reference point. If that turns you off, I apologize. I'm not trying to push what I believe onto anybody, but this is just that's how I'm coming, right? So I believe. I hope that one day that maybe you will believe. If you don't, if not, again, it's not my intention to offend anybody. I just got to give it to you the way that I'm getting it, right? So today, right? I got to give y'all a wake up call. This episode is a little bit different, but we got to get into the discussion about April 1st, okay? Which is, and the word is called Abib, and Abib, which is also known as Nisan, is actually April, and it is the first day of the year. Okay, now in Exodus 12, verses 1 and 2, yeah, I know, right? It talks about the Passover, and it's saying in verse 1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Okay. So, apparently, let me get a little bit further down because I got some more notes, right? And then okay, so in Deuteronomy 16:1 it says, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Okay, so this is the Passover, right? That happened where, if you know anything about the Bible, you know that when they was in Egypt, before they made their exodus out of Egypt, there was a few plagues that Moses was brought to the Egyptian people because the Pharaoh at the time refused to let Moses' people go, which was the Hebrews or the Israelites. And the last of those plagues was the angel of death, or I think, if I'm not mistaken, they was told to put the blood of a lamb, a slaughtered lamb, or it had to be a male without spot or blemish. The blood of that lamb was supposed to go over the door to protect them from the angel of death, or whoever was going to come and take the life of the firstborn in these houses, which is the last plague. And then, of course, the Egyptians didn't listen to this, and they lost their firstborn. But that's why they call it the Passover, right? Because in order to get your house passed over, this is what you had to do. But, of course, the lamb had to be sacrificed, which is why it would make sense that this would be what we as Christians know as Easter Sunday, because why would God pick a different day to sacrifice the Son of Man in order for our sins to be forgiven, okay? For sin to pass over us, right? So But before Jesus came and died, this is what was going on. And, if God was the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, why would he change later what he had already established? At any rate, said to celebrate the Passover in these ways, right? Also, it says in Deuteronomy, see, did I already read that one? Okay, so in Joel 2 and 23 says, Be glad then, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain and the latter rain in the first month. So all these things are kind of telling us that April, because we know April for April showers, that this is basically the first month of the year. Because, I mean, there are other things that happen, and I ain't gonna try to confuse you, but I've heard things about it being like a 28-day calendar, and there was actually 13 months, and that the 1st of April was like the last day left over or something like that. But that's not where this is going, right? Actually, it's saying that spring in Israel is the beginning of the year, not January, which is the middle of the winter. And when the Roman Catholic Church changed the Gregorian calendar in October 1582 by Pope Gregory XIII from the Julian calendar and moved the New Year's celebration from April 1st to January 1st, they named it after the Roman god Janus, and there is a definite similarity in those who continue to celebrate the new year on April 1st. I'm sorry. And there's a definite similarity, right? And those who continue to celebrate the new year on April 1st were referred to as fools. April Fools is a term used to mock people who follow God's rules. This is what the pagans do, mock God. So, yeah, basically anybody who continued to celebrate the first of the year on April was considered a fool. So I know it said in the Bible that you shouldn't use the word fool, call people fools. That I negated to get that note, and I hope you forgive me for that. I mean, you can go into your Bible and find out that scripture for yourself, but we've heard that as kids, even though I wasn't necessarily this, you know, the most church going. I wasn't in the most church going family. I mean, my mother in actuality was a Jehovah's Witness, which I may have discussed that with y'all before, but I later became a part of a Christian household, which my grandmother was in the Church of God in Christ. Why they have all these denominations, I don't know, right? But when I went to foster care, I was in the Church of Christ household. And although she didn't go to church every Sunday, she took me. And that's where I kind of got my knowledge of the word, so to speak. And, although we didn't go every Sunday, we did hear that, you're not supposed to call people fools, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You kind of hear about there are certain things. But that's most likely the reason why. Because to be referred to as a fool was like, I guess a fool maybe was somebody that didn't believe, but of course we believe in God. So again, if you don't believe, I'm not trying to shame you. I'm hoping that maybe this will make you curious and want to come in. But at any rate, in Daniel it says, and he, which I'm under the impression that it's talking about the Antichrist, right? And it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change the times and the laws, which is exactly what happened. Now, I don't want to get down on people who are Catholic, but it's a lot of bull crap coming from the Catholic situation. Why is that? And I've always had this inkling or this hunch, right, to not really deal with that. And why? Well, again, I might have talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Like, why do they have this big old gold Mary? And what? But I mean, apparently, and this is not, I don't want to assume, but it looks like to me, after doing some digging, that this Babylonian thing has been woven into a lot of the fabric of the entire world for the most part, which is also kind of like I know that I'm not supposed to probably go into these deep dives with y'all. And I do this a lot on my own. That's why I would never necessarily consider my own self a pastor. I am just why I have to because a lot of these pastors again are just like, and I'm not trying to squat on pastors altogether, but somebody I care for was like maybe they just kind of just giving you the introduction, and then trying to make sure you continue to come to church and get you saved, right? But what about those of us who need more than just the kiddie pool portion of the Bible, and like they don't desire to eat or drink milk anymore? Now, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just saying, even in school, I mean, you have those people who are, just kind of mid range. You got some that are like lower level, and then you got some that are, they need a little bit more in order to engage into the classroom situation. And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I've always been kind of, I need just a little bit more, right? In order for me to, to not get bored. And I've always, always, always cared for the teacher or the person in the school, we'll say school, um, that maybe veered off some, or not even veered off, but just like went above and beyond and taught me things that weren't necessarily outlined in the curriculum. They may have told me some things about history that sparked something that intrigued me and made me wonder why is it that why are they covering these things up? So I mean, if I could do that for somebody else, like I said, I don't really care as much about how many people tune into my lives. Of course, like anyone else, I would love to have a million views, et cetera, et cetera. On the playbacks, if you guys catch this, and you decide to shoot me like that'll be appreciated for the algorithm. That way we can do this more, and hopefully, because this is new for me as far as YouTube, you turn on that notification bell right there, and click that, and whenever I go live, you'll be notified when I'm in, and then y'all can come in and y'all can interact with me and kind of let me know maybe if I'm wrong or you have a difference of opinion. And I don't necessarily want to be going back and forth and arguing with nobody. At the same time, I'm into a little playful banner because this episode isn't going to be completely about this the entire time. I'm gonna get into some of this other stuff. It's a little bit serious, right? There's some other things that need to be addressed also, but this was kind of heavy on my heart because again, I just can't believe. I shouldn't be surprised, but it's kind of hard to shock me at this age, and I'm still shocked at the amount of cunning that has been placed in the deception of us, right? But they say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he does not exist. And a lot of people just go about their day and not worry about a lot of this stuff, and they're not concerned, but it doesn't look like there's really nothing to be concerned about. But when you celebrating all these different things, thinking that you're doing the right thing, not knowing that you're celebrating the definitely the wrong thing, and you might be, to the thought of me irritating God because I don't know, for one, it's just annoying to me. To be ignorant of something is one thing, but with this much information out there, it's like, how's it that you're still ignorant and you're not even trying? Because you're not trying. It's because you're not trying. So I'm trying. I'm not just trying because trying is something we don't do. We either doing or we ain't doing, and this is what we doing this. So, hey, if you mad at me because you know something that you didn't necessarily want to know now, then I'm not necessarily apologetic about that. But if you one of those type of people that want to know what they're not trying to tell you, then I'm gonna probably give it to you, and go up to your pastor and ask him sometime, like maybe, like, man, why come I didn't find out that April Fools was something Pagans started by you, and I had to learn from this dude named Jamerson Ballard. Like, who is Jamerson Ballard? It's me. I'm the reason why your congregation is probably a little bit upset or disappointed in you. But I understand why people be trying to avoid certain topics, because I had an individual who I thought knew a lot about one topic, but when I asked him a question that he didn't know the answer to, Brett totally avoided the question. He just started talking more about what he already knew and could answer. And I asked a partner of mine earlier, I was like, would that make you not respect your leadership if you was able to ask them a question that they didn't know and they said, I don't know? That's a rhetorical question. So, and rhetorical means you don't got to answer that out loud, but I'm pretty sure your kids have asked you questions that you might not have understood. I mean, you didn't know the answer to, and I don't think they loved you any less because you was like, I don't know, son. I mean, maybe they expected you to know what 3 times 3 was, and you didn't know what the answer to 3 times 3 was. You had to go into your calculator and figure it out. But I mean, my thing is, we should be trying to figure these things out, and it ain't necessarily as simple as 3 times 3, but all things can be figured out. The information is out there. So let's get into it, man. Oh yeah, so um, apparently, like I said, they're saying that that things like the Antichrist is already in the world, and I mean, if anybody is like, where is it? I kind of feel like it might actually come from the Catholic Church. I don't know. I could be wrong, but and again, I'm not trying to shoot you down if you're a Catholic. I ain't never been to their church before, but from what I've been hearing, man, it's not necessarily somewhere I want to go. I mean, they do constantly be kids be getting raped a lot, a lot. I'm against that solely. So I mean, I don't know if I want to, be in a church where one of the cardinals or whoever might have touched on kids before, because they're not supposed to be having sex. But I mean, if you're gonna have sex, why not just get a woman? Why a kid? I mean, if you're gonna do anyway, I digress. The last thing I got as far as this is concerned is 1 John 4:3, and it says, "And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is in the world." So it's out here existing. I'm look. I'm not trying to. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I know we got this eclipse about to come. I done heard some things about that, and we'll get more into that on the next episode. But right now, we're going to continue on in this week's lineup. Now, in this week's lineup, right, is a man that was sentenced to 3 years in prison for marrying 10 women he met in black churches across multiple states in the U.S. for financial gain. Now, we did just talk about church going. And if you understand, like I know, that there are a lot of women in these churches who, for all intents and purposes, are probably very vulnerable. They want a man. They want to be married at some point. And I guess this dude was taking advantage of these women. And if you into these environments doing that kind of stuff, man, can you just stop, please, bro? Because they on to you. I mean, I would hope so. I mean, some of these women are very. If you know anything like about black women, some of them be very like, inquisitive, investigating reporter types, and they're not necessarily scared to go through your belongings and whatever. So how he got away with doing this long is beyond me. Because don't say that these are apparently all black women, but again, he's got like this target audience, and he's preying on these women. It's predatory activity, and it's annoying, bro, to hear about it. But it's apparently a 51-year-old named Orlando Coleman. Lando, come on, man, bro, got the gold tooth in the side, all that shit. Who he posing as a pastor or a deacon or a bishop, whatever you feel like could get him in. And you getting these women to let their guard down, and then he's marrying them though. Why not just hit? I mean, I guess saying that you need to marry him is the golden ticket, right? Because some of them I think said that he wasn't even interested in having sex with her, which is kind of crazy. But An investigator believes his first marriage was in 2001, and he traveled to states including Delaware, Texas, Kentucky, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Iowa, North Carolina, Virginia, and others to find his victims. What the fuck? Brett got arrested, and I think he had to do like 3 years. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'm not exactly sure. I think in Texas, is it polygamy or is a felony? Um, but I mean, look, if they made the ability to have more than one wife uh, a law like where you could do that, then I'm pretty sure people would not be so fascinated with having more than one wife. I guarantee it, because having one woman sometimes is stressful enough. But if you don't want none of your hair follicles, man, just go ahead and get you two or three of them and try to keep all of them happy, because it's almost impossible. So I guess that's why God say that, if you're a bishop of a church, you only need one woman. Because you can't do everything God asking for you and keep all these women happy. Who you going to pick? You going to choose one or the other one. And you probably going to make the wrong choice because you want to hit every day. And it's just not necessarily the way to go, bro. I'm not saying that having multiple women is bad. I'm just saying if it's allowed, then it won't be something that people will be, you know, they will desire to do, because it'd be stories about other men maybe having all these situations where it didn't necessarily work out the way they thought it would, and it'd just, with us being a rebellious country, it'll probably take the taste out of your mouth a little bit. We'll go into another state that eliminated everything or changed their laws and how they're trying to go back in a little bit later, right? In Philly, we got two suspects, right? Zaki Alakin, the gunman that was hired by a lady named Julie Jean, and they were both convicted in the murder for hire trial that left a teacher dead and have been sentenced to life in prison. Hmm. So let me get this straight, because I mean, apparently these two conspired and or killed a teacher, which is a victim. Her name was Rachel King. Um, they gunned her down in Dunkin' Donuts drive-through last April, and I mean, while her son was in the car, man, all over this this man choosing this lady over her. So Julie Jean hired Zaki Alakin to kill Rachel King because a man picked her over Julie. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I mean, I guess a good man is hard to find out here, man. So I mean, for all you do is on your dean, you know what I'm saying, and doing what you're supposed to be doing, man, stand up, bro, because you are a rare breed, apparently. And this lady thought it was appropriate to kill the woman that this man chose, instead of accepting the fact that this is not for me, this ain't my man. Let me move on and pick somebody else. What the fuck is you going through, lady? That's not gonna change shit. He not gonna love you because you killed another woman. You just salty. And what's up with the other niggas? Zaki Alakin. That sound like a brother in the Islamic faith, and you out here killing people for money, bro. I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying the name sounds like. That's not to say that, and I'm not trying to squat on my Muslim brothers, because it's like, but what? I would just hold somebody you know, in that to a higher regard, and thinking that they would probably be. I mean, it can't be. Is it that bad out here? Let's take a look about what else is going on out here in the country, man, because it sounds like it's pretty bad. In Brooklyn, a dude named V.O. Kelly, 20 years old, right, has turned himself in after being charged with the murder of are allegedly stabbing a 19-year-old twin named Samaya Spain to death and injuring her twin outside a bodega in Brooklyn. What? So this nigga done killed a twin. I mean, it's another one standing right next to. So he and get this, he didn't kill her. I mean, because she said, get the fuck away from me. I mean, apparently he asked her for a number. She rejected him. She didn't give him a number, but she gave him her Instagram. So he still had some type of action, and he still couldn't take that and killed her. You stabbed her to death because she said, "No, you can't have my number," because she don't know you. You can get my Instagram though, and you could have parlayed that into something. You know what I'm saying? You got the sister right there. You could have had one of them is feeling you maybe. But you stabbed one and then cut the other one because you embarrassed. I guess the dude was drunk. Hey man, stop. Don't drink, bro. Don't drink and don't be no pussy ass nigga who can't take no for an answer. Because it's a numbers game out here, man. You gonna get no. You gonna probably get 100 no's before you finally get the yes that works for you. But you can't stab somebody because they not feeling you, bro. It's ridiculous, man. I mean, they got dating sites, they got all this other shit. You got action somewhere. It's got somebody for somebody, bro. And the dude he wasn't no, hunchback of Notre Dame looking nigga. So I don't understand why he didn't just kind of. But hey, there's a lot of these niggas is tender. They tender, and ladies, please be careful, because although I don't understand why a woman would lie to a man and tell her she gonna give you the number and give you a fake number. That might have been probably the more appropriate approach to this. But I mean, at the same time, giving the person your Instagram is kind of like still fucking with him. You know what I mean? Even though it ain't the way he wanted to be fucked with, it's ridiculous that he stabbed his girl, man. Anyway, taking it to Minnesota, we're working our way around because on the West Coast we got a lot going on the West Coast. Y'all better what? Anyway, a frightening teen shootout between teenagers at a Northeast Minneapolis gas station that nearly killed innocent bystanders is once again putting the spotlight on juvenile crime in the state's largest city. Yeah, so it's two niggas see each other at the store, and I mean, instead of them, I don't know, fighting it out, they immediately start shooting at each other while one of them is inside the store. So they got active. One dude, he tried to cover his face up. He sounded like Rocky, talking about, I barely left with my life. And he did. Bruh trying to get some cigarettes and some gas, and he had to get the fuck out of there before they smash his ass. Like, because these two tender-ass little niggas can't take an ass whooping. Now, I did see somebody get their... and I don't know where it was or how long ago it was, but it seemed like it was something recent. Two dudes, they seen each other. They wasn't happy with what they seen, and they started fighting. One of them got the better of the other one. I mean, he didn't stomp him out or nothing. He hit him, knocked him down a few, and then he let him get up, and they got back to it, and he knocked him down again, and he said, "Nigga, you good? You good?" He got up, he slapped his hand, and they went their separate ways. That's how it's supposed to go. That's how it's supposed to go. You can't whoop that nigga, man. It's over with. You got to respect him. Now, I don't know who was wrong or who was right or what was going on, but that's a nigga you can't beat up with your hands, and you going to win some, you going to lose some. You going to win some of these girls, you going to lose some. You can't win them all, but you can't shoot everybody that don't fuck with you like that, men and women. This is ridiculous. Anyway, now, out in the West Coast, and it's not just out the West Coast, they got teenage takeovers going on now. Teenage takeovers. What the fuck is that about? Apparently, they on social media, they meeting up, and they talking about how they gonna fight such and such or beat up such and such, and it's just, they wilding, bro. I mean, we was talking about kids not going outside, but then when they get outside, they go meet up at the mall and they just get into these big ass teenage brawls. That ain't what we was talking about. That's not productive at all. This, I mean, I don't know. What is it? Is it the kids are becoming desensitized? Is it video games? I mean, they lack social skills, and they just get out in public and show their motherfucking ass. And I I'm not even the type of dude that feel like kids need their ass whooped altogether. Some kids, every kid is different. Some need disciplinary action in one way. Others might need their ass whooped. But these parents, they not watching their kids. They not aware of what they fucking got going on. And okay, but kids lie. Kids are deceptive. They learn it from a young age about being deceptive. So you gotta go into their accounts. You gotta figure out. Now in Florida, they probably ain't gonna have a lot of these problems right off because they actually ban social media. I'm saying social media, but they ban a lot of these apps from being used by children until they turn 14 without their parents' consent. So shout out to you know DeSantis. He should have been the you know the who got active section of the show. It should have been him, but we got somebody else that got that today. Trust me, it's worth it. Worth it. If you follow me throughout the whole episode, you're gonna figure it out. But that part was some of the illest shit that should have been happening all over the country. And I was a teenager. I would have probably not liked that so much. But at the same time, it's not about being liked as a parent. A lot of parents want to be liked. They want to be cool. They want to be, but you either gonna be this person's friend or you gonna be their parent, and you can't be both. Even in a managerial position, you gotta make the distinction between that. You can't be in these employees' faces all day, every day, laughing and joking and shit. And then when you say, "I need you to go do that and do this," y'all in their mind, y'all on the same level. They ain't gonna respect you like that. You gotta get the fuck out their face and go do some other shit while they working and doing the shit that they supposed to be doing on their level. Cause you trying to be friends with them, they sweeping floors and doing working for you. Y'all not friends, bro. If you're a manager, if you're a boss, if you're a parent, you have to stand on that, and they will respect you more in the long run. At any rate, out west, we have concerns because after the Torrance Police Department warned the public about a planned youth takeover of a local mall, a second Los Angeles area law enforcement agency issued a similar warning in a post to Instagram on Friday. The Carson's Sheriff Station said it received information about a disruptive youth gathering planned for Saturday at the South Bay Mall Pavilion. South Bay Pavilion, also known as the Carson Mall. And they tore that motherfucker up. I mean, they went out there fighting. I don't know if these kids can fight. They look tender. They look like they can't really fight. They probably didn't tear up much. They probably, knocked a few cups over. But it was a lot of them, and it was disturbing to see and hear. And I'm pretty sure that, I heard that they actually started implementing some kind of curfew so that the kids after 3 o'clock can't come into the mall without being accompanied by a parent, which probably sucks for parents that want to be able to just leave their kids out and go do other shit. But now you can't do it because you didn't fucked up and ain't did your job. Now you got to do extra credit work to make sure your kids ain't out there doing dumb shit. So, congratulations, parent. You did it. You fucked up. In other news, a girl died 5 days later after a fight at school. That's gotta. You as a kid didn't tell your parents because you don't want to go to the doctor, and then something else go on, fall down, whatever, and then you die. Parents unaware of what's going on. They not understanding. The mother said her 16-year-old daughter was bullied at a school and said the teen died due to brain injuries from a fight on campus. What I'm hearing though is that the fight happened after school, so it wasn't really nothing the school could do, right? And the police said the teen's death was connected to a fall at a gathering with friends. So the girl that fell down, she already got brain injury, but she didn't know how serious it was because she felt like she was okay. And then later died from the incident. I mean, she didn't. I don't know if the girl that she got in a fight with hit her head up against something. I mean, and I don't necessarily feel like the kids all together be heartless. This is me wanting to think that. I just think that this is going on, and the kids is tender. They don't want to take no L. You scared, you fighting, you trying to get your win the best way you can. You done went overboard because you angry. This person that said something to you that drove you up the wall, probably called you out your name, et cetera, which is understandable that you want to do something to this person. But I mean, like with the other dude, when he seen you got the best of this person, you ain't gotta keep going overboard with that, man. But a lot of these girls is gonna fight. Doing security during the time I was doing it, for the most part, it was not the dudes that was doing a lot of the fighting. It was the girls. It's almost always the females, and that's the same thing that be going on in some of these same-sex relationships with these women. They don't necessarily have a clear-cut leader. One of the two girls is like just letting the other one do what it is they feel like they want to do, and she tired of getting. Well, the stud usually is tired of getting beat up by dudes, so she want to be the one that's in charge, and the other one, even though they looking eye to eye to each other, she let her be the dude, because when it's time to take out the trash, she don't feel like taking out the trash or paying for shit. But when she feel like she want her way, and the other one telling her she can't do this or she not supposed to do that, and she don't think that this bitch can beat her up, they end up fighting, and here we go. But that's not necessarily here nor there. I'm just saying, I mean, sometimes I, as a man, don't necessarily understand what was going on with all this, this, you know, these power struggles. But then, when I say it out loud, it kind of make more sense. At any rate, let's go to another part of the country. Well, it's still the same side. It's in Oregon, though. Now, Oregon. Now, I know I talked a little bit earlier about trying to reel shit in at the end and went too far. Oregon is the place where this is happening. Apparently, they wanted to like bring like prosecuting for hard drug possessions back into the mix after they done away with that. Like they made a law it's law for you to possess any and all type of drugs in small increments. I mean, for usage. But I guess it's been too much going on out there, and they like, look, we need to make that shit illegal again, because these motherfuckers is going crazy. But because I met a woman from Oregon, and she had moved out here, and I asked her why she moved out here, and she was like, it was crazy. I mean, apparently everybody's Cadillac converter getting stole. You ain't got no garage and your car is out there just sitting in. I mean, you a victim. You know how much money they get for these Cadillac converters? I had a car lot tell me that somebody cut a hole in the fence in the back and was stealing all the Cadillac converters out the parking lot of the car lot. So it's just like, I can't imagine how much crime is happening out there when you letting people do heroin and cocaine and crystal meth, and it's all good. I don't know what the fuck they was thinking. Because I mean, once you made everything lawful with drugs, it ain't like somebody gonna be like, you know what, I don't want to do drugs no more. I mean, when you got heroin involved, you gotta do that, or you gonna go through withdrawal. So you trying to get your fix, you gonna break in somebody's shit. Somebody finna be a victim. You ain't finna be shitting on yourself today, not today. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to roll the shit back and make it to where it's illegal to have these drugs again. They giving people up to 180 days for possession of certain drugs, and they want to be able to put people in rehab, but they don't necessarily have enough rehab centers for all these drug addicts, and they're making it a misdemeanor, so it's not necessarily felony, but they don't have enough um, DA or not DAs, public defenders, in order to prosecute all these minor drug offenses. They don't have enough public defenders to defend the felonies that's going. And can you imagine what the fuck you had to do to get a felony in Oregon? If I mean, and I'm not saying that drug abuse is not something that should necessarily be a jailable offense. Yeah, you got a problem. You probably need to go to rehab, but just be realistic, okay? You got to be realistic, Oregon. I don't know if you still live there. Shout out to you, man. But you definitely need a garage, because if you letting your shit sit outside, you are going to be a fucking victim. Anyway, in Celebrity Spotlight, we got Bun B. Now, I don't know if I'm in Oklahoma right now, so Bun B is somebody that we kind of know about because of, UGK. UGK, legendary rap group. One half of that started a burger joint called Trill Burgers, which have been doing tremendous. I've been hearing all this great stuff. I haven't made the trip down there to get a taste of one, but I'm hearing good things. Apparently, Brad is suing his former partners because they took like $45,000 of the bread that they made, and because some of his investors are people that was in partnership with him on another restaurant called, I think, Sticky's Chicken or something like that, and they took money that they made from the Trill Burgers and put it in Sticky's Chicken, and Bun B trying to sue them for that. But they countersuing him like, yeah, no, you owed us this money already. You wouldn't even have Trill Burgers if it wasn't for us. Apparently, they feel like some of the seasoning that they put in the burger was their idea. And, Brett like, Brett, come on now. Now, Trill Burgers, that's me. I got a following already, that's me. So we gonna do all right. We gonna at least do all right. People like to eat in Texas. They gonna eat burgers. That's not even a hard. And how hard is it to make a burger good enough to eat? But apparently they was like, it wasn't that good. It was like, if you look at a Nike swoosh, it was all right. And then when we got involved and put garlic powder and a little cumin in it, then it started going up. And that's us. That's because of us. Man, look, if you got $45,000 that you didn't tell this man that he owed you, and you took it and put it into something else without him telling you, you deserve to get sued, motherfucker. That's dishonest. And then when he catch you and try to sue you, like, oh, no, you already owed us that. What kind of business is that? That's not good business at all. So that's something that Brett going through, and I hate it for him because, shit, $45,000, it's a lot of money. That's not a whole lot of money, but it's a lot of money. I mean, it's especially with motherfuckers, I'm pretty sure because the turkey leg hut ain't doing that great right now. Maybe I'm pretty sure they doing all right, but they going through it internally. Maybe some get some of that business going his way, and and then all the money that he got from that is being stolen by the white man. What the fuck? Come on, bro, don't do that. Anyway, they doing that, and your man's Mr. Take That. P. Diddy is they got his ass, man. They done got him. They went in there and found whatever he was not trying to let them find. They found it. They found some weapons and they found some tapes, and they probably gonna do him bad, man. But what I'm hearing is he didn't sue some of the people that he was in business with, as far as on the alcohol side of the game. Some really, really huge people that was distributing Ciroc. I might be mistaken as far as that, but apparently he sued them and won. And when he did that, they wanted revenge. So now, because he probably been raping people and doing all this crazy shit for years, and they never had no charges thrown at him. But when he beat these people in the lawsuit, they went after him in a different kind of way. And as you know, whenever, these individuals who are in power decide that they don't want you to have what you got, they go after you and they hit you with all these cases and shit to drain your money with litigation. So you got to pay for lawyers. You got to pay to go to court. You got to pay. Federal court is different. They subject to have you in court in Wisconsin when you live in Georgia or something, and you got to fly there and be there by this time, and then your lawyers got to fly and be there. I mean, you know what I mean? This is crazy. And so you just spent hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to try to keep yourself out of trouble. You know what I mean? All while you trying to pay bills and do all this shit. You got a couple different properties. I mean, you know, they did it to Bill Cosby. They did it to R. Kelly. They doing it to Trump. So what chance do you got? But I mean, you know, and I'm saying all that to say, you know, I don't know, man. It make it seem like hey, don't sue. You sue, but don't win. And if you win, we gonna make you pay. You know, you won, but nigga, you ain't gonna spend it the way you want to spend it. You know what I mean? Eddie Griffin said, you know, as black men in this industry or in the entertainment industry, you don't get out clean. And shout out to you if you do, man. You know what I mean? I think Adam 22 is talking about how he about to hit somebody cheeks in his first gay scene, which could have been, you know, a prank because of the April 1st situation. But Brick Baby didn't think it was funny. He talking about he about to quit. He ain't fucking. And I can't blame him. But I mean, you know, hey, I mean, what do you do, man? If your if your if your boss come out and tell you he like butt cheeks now, I mean, you know, is you gonna, you know, not get the money no more? You not gonna, you know, go to work the next day? I mean, you still gotta feed your kids. So I'm not saying that you should stay there, but I mean, you know, for me personally, I feel like all of them people that's being there, whether they be the gangster element or even sharp, they damn near being, I don't know, exploited. Kind of like a circus act where you got a lion and a bear um, running around and jumping through hoops. Like, yeah, I gotta learn the business. Yeah, okay, I get it. But they're making a mockery out of gangster shit, and you know, every time Sharp get on, they can't wait for him to get on, so he just be arguing with these brides, and it look bad. Although I can understand why, you know, or his angle with some of these, like I think her name was Blue or something Blue, uh, Blue Sapphire or something like that. You know, he telling her that how she should do business and how she. But at the end of the day, bro, if she ignorant, she gonna be. You can't argue a bitch into respecting your point of view. She gonna do the dumb shit, and when she fall on her face, you let her drown, and then you decide you want to do something to help her at that point. Then yeah, then you know, but she not necessarily finna try to, you know, select you at this point because she feel like her winning in New York doing what she doing is big enough. When you, of course, you telling her she should use and parlay her interview with you to make more than just money in New York. She can do it all over the world through the internet. She didn't see it that way, but you can't argue her into feeling it. You just gotta leave her where she at, bro, and keep it moving. If the bride don't want to give you her number, keep it moving. If the bride don't want to pay you for the game that you was offering, keep it moving. If the if the nigga don't want you, lady, keep it moving. If the church that you're attending isn't giving you the truth, you can't be mad at him because he don't give it to you. All you can do is keep it moving. KIM. Because there is somebody that's gonna give it to you the right way. There is somebody that's gonna love you for who you are. There is, and you know, if you get into an altercation with a person and you fight them, you don't have to beat them until they. I mean, you fight it. Hey, it says all fair in love and war, man. But that don't necessarily mean you gotta do it. Okay. Now, this segment I like to call "Don't Be a Weirdo." We got some different kind of shit going on. Now, there's a nigga at the Wasco train station in California. Now, I'm saying nigga, but you know, he definitely not a black person. Um, it's a 27-year-old man named Rosendo Teles. Now you know that's not a nigga. Now Rosendo has been arrested after being suspected of taking the leg of a pedestrian who was struck by an Amtrak train in California and eating it. Now, the dude who was telling us all this on the news station looked like he was at work seeing dude. He said the dude was hitting the leg up against the wall, and he's like, man, is he eating it? Bro was eating the raw leg that he done found somebody done got. What the fuck? And he said the dude might be homeless, but bro, I don't give a fuck about how homeless you is. There's way too many restaurants and food out here to be, you know, you can go out in the back after they close and get the burgers that they're throwing out in the bag or something. Or you can talk to somebody. You ain't gotta eat no human leg, a raw one. Even if you was the type of nigga that beg and you could, this nigga's making money begging. You know what I'm saying? Get your bag on, bro. Don't eat no leg, Holmes. No, Holmes, that's not the way to do it. You done came too far. Did you just come from another country? Did y'all eat that out in other countries? You in America now. You ain't got to eat people. It's not that bad, bro. And it's raw. You ain't even cooked the motherfucker. You could have sliced it up and started you a nice little campfire and, you know, stole you some butter or something from Walmart. You could have stole some lunch meat and then you could make a sandwich in the store and walk out. You ain't got to eat no human being, bro. But the nigga was eating the person. I had a different weirdo of the week before this. It was a 37-year-old chick that was fucking a 12-year-old girl, bro. But we'll probably get into that next episode if I don't find nothing better than that, because that shit is weird too. What the fuck is you going through? But yeah, Rosendo Tellez is our weirdo of the week. Honestly, obviously a cannibal, which is just, that is an alternative lifestyle I don't never want to run into. I mean, they're talking about how traumatized the people was that seen that shit. That's got to be crazy. First of all, you seen the nigga. I mean, they about to arrest this nigga for, I think, contaminating a crime scene or something. I don't know, but they need to lock his ass up in more than just the jail, cause he hungry. He hungry for a different kind of meat now. And you know, I got a couple other segments, but this one I'm gonna kind of cut it short. But you know, and the last one, but not the least one, is who got active. Now y'all been waiting for this, but who got active this week was the members of the Black Panther Party. Who? The Black Panther Party. Yeah, they still out here active too. Right. Cause I ain't heard nothing from the Black Panther Party in a couple decades. I thought it was over with. I mean, you know, you hear about them being out here, but I ain't seen them doing nothing, like making no displays of you know, no public appearances, right? But out in the Potawatomi County School Board, I guess in Virginia, at a board meeting on Monday, they addressed the floating image of a white female Potawatomi high school student uh, with the "I kill niggers" written on her arm. What? So it's a white girl in Virginia with "I kill niggers" on her arm, with all the school shootings and shit, and they ain't did shit about it. They just been pushing it off like, oh, ain't no big deal. Oh, ain't no big deal. Cause she white, that ain't no big deal. Cause she a girl, ain't no big deal. Now we just talked about this shit. Girls fight, but they also kill motherfuckers too. They know how to use guns, and y'all got y'all's guard down like she ain't no threat. Why is it that when she got "I kill niggas" on her, nobody took that shit seriously? So apparently the Black Panther Party took matters into their own hands. They attended this board meeting and they addressed it. You know, they were saying that if they don't, you know, get this lady some help or do something about this, the people that on the board, they'll replace them. I mean, politically, by, you know, the voting and all that. They didn't have no guns in there and doing all that crazy stuff. They showed up. And for that, they are our activated individuals of the week, the Black Panther Party. Yes, you heard it here. So yeah, I'm gonna end on that note. It's been real. It was my first live on YouTube, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. So we plan on doing this again. I don't know. Maybe next time I'll try it on TikTok. So follow me on all my social media handles. They're all It's Jamerson Ballard, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Give me a like, a share, and like I said, I'll see y'all next time. Have a great evening and a productive week.